piece of paper. And how much would they pay? Well, as the writer, I'm going to say the premium I want for this piece of paper is, now it's up to me, but obviously if I set it too high, no one's going to buy this option off me. So I'm going to say the premium is 30 pence per share. So what I'm offering is to sell a piece of paper to somebody else. I want some money up front for it. If you like, I'm not going to just give it away for nothing. So I want an upfront premium, and I'm giving someone else the right to buy 1,000 shares, literally call me, if you like, demand 1,000 shares off me anytime in the next 3 months. And if they do that, once I've sold this piece of paper on, I will have to find them and deliver them, let's say at £4 each. So imagine, I take out the piece of paper, I write all that on it, I say, anyone want this? Premium is 30 pence per share. Well, it's on 1,000 shares, so that would be 300 quid, if you like. Anyone want it? And someone walks in the room and says, yeah, I'll take it. I'll have that option. I want to hold that option, Tim. I go, fine, deal. There you go, take the piece of paper, give me 300 quid, it's yours. So, I've got £300 in my pocket. Great. No prizes for guessing why I'm in this game. I just made £300 off a piece of paper. And what's more, I made it up front. Doesn't get any better than that. How many investments can you name where I get £300 in my pocket up front? So as the person who wrote the option out and then sold it, I'm quids in from the beginning. So the question is, why did that mug who just walked in through the door buy the option? Like, why'd they just give me £300 for a piece of paper? That's mad. There must be something in it for them. And the answer is there is. If the share price now takes off, which is what they're gambling on, if you like, they can make money. How? Okay, that's the market price. That's going to move. This strike isn't. So let's move that price. So we've got 3 months, so the holder of the option sitting there with this piece of paper doesn't have to use it today or tomorrow or next week, any time in the next 3 months, or it expires. So there's the price. Let's move that market price. So that's the London Stock Exchange price. Let's move that up. So 2 weeks later, 2 weeks time, 450p. Okay, I'll look that up at the London Stock Exchange. ABC share price has shot up. Now, the price on this piece of paper hasn't moved. It's fixed, it's a contract, okay? So what does the person I sold the option to do? They phone me up. They go, Tim, I'd like those 1,000 shares now, please. And I go, oh, damn, what 1,000 shares? Oh yeah, I wrote that piece of paper out a few weeks ago. Right, what's on it? Oh, okay, so they ring me up and say, Tim, I want 1,000 shares off you, and I want them at £4 each. And I say, well, the market price is £4.50, and they go, tough. You sold me this piece of paper, you've got to deliver 1,000 shares at £4 each. And that's right, it's a contract. I have got to deliver 1,000 shares for £4 each. So I go into the London Stock Exchange, I go to the market, I buy 1,000 shares for £4.50, and in tears I hand them on to the person who bought the option off me for £4. Okay? Now, that's a bit of a pain for me. I've spent £4.50 buying shares I have to deliver to the holder of this option at £4 each. Okay? However, the holder is laughing, potentially, because the holder of the option makes a nice little profit out of this. Let's see how that works. The holder of the option basically says to me, Tim, I want 1,000 shares for £4 each, and I deliver them for £4 each, let's say. They sell them straight away at the market price of £4.50. So the market price, £4.50. The strike price on the option was £4. So by demanding those shares off me, they're 50 pence per share up as a profit. But when they're doing their homework on how much money they've made overall, they did pay a premium up front at the start. So if you're going to work out your overall profit, you've got to factor that in. So there's the premium of 30 pence per share to knock off, because that was paid up front by the person who walked in the room and bought the option. So that still leaves them 20p up. Per share, on 1,000 shares, that's £200. So that's not too bad. So the call option has made money for the person who held it when prices rose, and that's the point. Call options, people who buy call options are generally gambling on prices rising. The people who write and sell them obviously want to bank an easy premium up front. So obviously my life would have been a lot easier if I'd just taken the 30 pence per share premium the market price of ABC shares had plummeted, and then whoever had the option would never have phoned me. I mean, why would they? Let's say the market price had plummeted in this 3-month period to only £3 per share. Why would the person who's holding the option phone me and demand shares for £4 that they can buy in the open market for £3 unless they're a lunatic? Okay, they won't. They'll go into the market and buy them for £3 if that's what they want to do, and the option will go in the bin. So call options make money when prices rise. Same is true of call covered warrants. Almost everything I've said could apply to a covered warrant. And that's really the point of them. Now, one fact could be changed here, and basically that would flip my perspective and the person who buys the piece of paper's perspective round. Let's change that one word. Okay, so we're going to run put options a little faster. Very, very similar facts. So imagine, back to the beginning, very, very, very similar facts. Okay, so I take out a piece of paper and I write on it, this gives somebody the right to sell. So, new piece of paper, 1,000 ABC shares at the same strike of £4 in the next 3 months. So I've literally changed one word to make a slightly different piece of paper. And let's make that the word put. Put option, or a put warrant. Now, basically, what's changed here? So this is the right to sell 1,000 shares at £4 each sometime in the next 3 months. Okay, I'm charging a premium for this piece of paper in the same way as I did just now. All right, and now what I'm doing basically is reversing me and the person who buys the options perspectives. Because what I've done is I've written out this piece of paper and someone's walked in the room and bought it off me. And they've paid me 30 pence per share, or £300 in total. So what are they thinking now? Why would someone buy or hold a put option that I've just written? And the answer is they're worried about prices falling this time round. Okay, not rising, but falling. So imagine, if you will, someone walks in and says, yeah, Tim, I'll take that option off you at a price of £4 or 400 pence strike per share at a price of 30 pence per share as a premium. So I'll pay you £300 for this option. And let's imagine the market price of the share ABC starts to plummet. Okay, so let's say I get a phone call from the person who's holding this option when the market price has hit, let's say, £3 or 300 pence. And what's happening here is they're saying, right, whoever's got the option phones me up, says, Tim, I want to exercise the put you wrote, all right, that I'm holding. So what they're trying to do now is to say, Tim, I want to dump 1,000 shares on you at £4 each. So this time I have no choice but to buy 1,000 shares at £4 each, and then it's up to me what I do with them, because the option's been exercised. Why is the holder exercising the option? Because potentially they can make good money. What they could do is go into the market, buy 1,000 shares at £3 each, the market price, exercise the option to get rid of them on me, not to anybody, on me, because I wrote the option at £4, so the strike price is 400p, and that's a profit of 100 pence per share. In other words, they've gone into the market, bought the shares for 300, dumped them on me for 400, taken a profit of 100p. But they paid me a premium up front, and that's non-refundable. Option holders always pay a non-refundable upfront premium, so let's knock that off. That was 30p. So they're making a pretty sizable profit of 70 pence per share. On 1,000 shares, that's £700. Okay, so that's the point of a put option. It is designed basically to make money when prices fall in the hands of the holder. Now, you might say to yourself, well, Tim, why did you ever write this option in the first place? Why did you write and sell a put option? And the answer is, of course, I was hoping this wouldn't happen. I was hoping it wouldn't get exercised. I was hoping that the ABC shares would lift off and I won't get the phone call. I mean, why would someone phone me and say, Tim, I'd like to sell ABC shares at 400p using this contract if the market price is 600p? Well, they wouldn't. They'd sell them in the market. So the option would expire and I get to keep my £300. All right. So that changes the viewpoint of the holder and the writer, as they're called. Now, I'm going to finish off on this introductory video with some observations here. So we have two basic types of option and covered warrant, the call and the put. Call options in the hands of the buyer are normally seen as bullish pieces of paper, and put options bearish. Okay, and basically, what are they used for? Well, you can use them to speculate. You can simply gamble using a call option on rising prices, on a put option on falling prices. But you could also use them to protect yourself. Well, imagine, for example, I'm holding a whole load of ABC shares and worrying about the price falling, but I don't want to sell them all right now. I want to keep hold of them. A put option could be one way to get a kind of insurance contract, if you like. You know, the right to sell these shares if I need to for 400p each could be a way of sort of protecting myself, in which case the premium I pay up front for a put option is kind of like an insurance premium on a car. You know, I might need the piece of paper or I might not, and I'm prepared to pay up front for that choice. That's what I'm paying for, the right to put the piece of paper in the bin or actually use it to get rid of shares. So that's the way you sort of hedge your position, if you like. The other thing about options to realize is simply this: they change in value. All right. So what I'm suggesting here is that maybe I buy a put option, okay, and the market price of the underlying share starts to plummet. This is the point, because the option lasts 3 months, the further the underlying share price falls in the next 3 months, the more valuable this piece of paper becomes, allowing whoever's got it to dump shares at £4 each. So the point is, the price, the premium will change as the market price of the underlying share changes. So with options, quite often you don't end up having to make a phone call to buy or sell 1,000 shares at all. You simply buy the option for a premium of 30p per share, and then you sell it on within the 3-month period to somebody else who wants it for 50p per share, let's say, and make a profit that way. So in other words, you make a profit simply between the amount you paid in premium to buy the option and the amount you offload as a premium to sell it on to somebody else. In that sense, it's almost like a sort of tradable insurance contract, if you like. Except obviously you can't trade your car insurance policy, but imagine if you could. An option can be traded on in that way, because the premium will alter depending on what the underlying share price is actually doing. Okay, so in summary, options are a little bit fiddly. They have quite a few terms and there's quite a lot of jargon, and they're not for everybody. Covered warrants are the retail equivalent of an option and follow all the same principles. So in summary, why would I buy a call covered warrant? It will be some kind of gamble that prices were going to rise. Okay, if I was buying a put option or a put covered warrant, I would be thinking as the buyer or the holder that prices were going to fall. And I could be either a speculator, trying to make a quick buck out of that, or I could be somebody looking to hedge a fall in price in some shares that I already own. Are these the most straightforward way to hedge falling prices? No. Okay, there are other options around. There are spread bets, which are frankly simpler. They have their risks, but they are a little bit more straightforward, and I cover those in another video. And there are things called inverse ETFs, which I'll be covering in a future video fairly soon. Alright, so there are other ways to deal with falling prices, and for some people options and covered warrants are quite jargon filled, a little bit technical to understand, and therefore sort of not for them. Alright, so if you're going to get into this world, I would say do some homework, get comfortable with the jargon, look at your broker's website, look at how they operate, look at how prices work before you jump in. But for anybody who does their homework and understands the jargon, they can be one weapon in the fight against, right now, let's say, falling prices.